Hey everyone, Julian here. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 VSTs so far in 2018. I made a video on the best free VSTs that I could find, but I want to make a video on what I specifically use. And some of these are things you guys will know about, some of them are things you may not, so I'm just going to dive in. So the first one I want to talk about is Serum. Of course, I'm sure all of you probably know about it. If you really even Googled the two words music production, you probably know about Serum. It's just a beast. It's so powerful. It sounds so good. And the thing is, it really is just kind of a blank canvas for you to do whatever you want and to sort of let your creativity run wild. I really can't imagine a better synth than Serum, at least for what modern audio music production requires, I guess. The fact that you can import your own wavetables just makes it a million times more customizable, and it just really allows you to just, again, let your creativity run free. It's got beautiful sounding filters, really good modulation, and really customizable sort of things within it. Really great effects. I mean, just everything about it is very nice. I really would be hard pressed to find a synth that is better than Serum, and definitely if I was trapped on a desert island or whatever, Serum is the synth I would take with me. So, next one I want to talk about is actually by the same people who made Serum, or the same person I should say, Exofer Records. It's called Lfo Tool. And what Lfo Tool is actually, if you're familiar with Serum, it's basically just the LFOs in Serum, but as a plugin, as sort of a standalone plugin, which is a lot better than it sounds, and a lot more useful than it sounds. So, what I mean by this is, basically you have 12 LFOs, you can shape them all however you want, and what you can do is you can use this routing here to route them to different parameters. So you can route it to the volume, that's what it is by default. If I draw in one MIDI note, it actually just sounds like a sidechain by default. So, essentially, yeah, you can route it to all these different parameters. You can do the volume. There's filters on here. The cut, you can put it on the cutoff. You can put it on the resonance. You can put it on the panning, you do an auto pan effect with this. You can put it on this little variable thing, which is something with the filters. If you get some of them, yeah, there's this little, you'll see it changes to different things as you change the filters. So, it's a really nice plugin. You can change, of course, the rate, all these different kinds of things with it. It's just a really great thing. What I use it for is sort of a more customizable version of Kickstart. If you're familiar with Kickstart, it's just a plugin that does sort of a faux 4-on-the-floor sidechain kind of thing. So you can make it do the pumping kind of effect without having to sidechain into a kick. The problem with Kickstart is that you can't really customize it. You just sort of have a few waveforms. What I like about this is you can really draw in your own waveforms. And actually, a trick that I use a lot with this kind of thing is when I do my sidechains, a lot of times I'll literally just take this default preset and drag these down and just have it be like this. But if you listen closely, there's a little click at the end there. And what you can do to fix that is you just grab this little point and then move this one up and make it sort of rounded or curved. And there you go, no more clicking. So, it's just a really good plugin for any kind of, yeah, anything you would want to put an LFO on, I guess. This is just a really useful plugin. Next one I want to talk about, and again, you guys all probably have heard of this, is Omnisphere. So, Omnisphere, it's going to take a second to load up. What Omnisphere is it's basically just this massive library of samples and a few sort of synth engines that this company called Spectrasonics built to just make this really big, powerful, sort of I mean, I can't even describe it. It's just this very nice synth that has a lot of really good sounds in it. A lot of people really just use it for the presets, myself included. You can also make your own patches though. You can use a sample. There's millions of samples in here. You can use, like I said, the synth engine, so you can just get one of these different waveforms. They've got a ton of them. It's very similar to Serum in a lot of ways, but it kind of has a little bit of a different sound, and it kind of has because it's a different way of working than Serum, you oftentimes will come up with different kind of sounds. There's a lot of really good filters on here. The modulation is great, the envelopes and the LFOs, beautiful. The effects, there's some very interesting effects on here. There's like these creative ones. They have like, they have all the basic stuff, but then they have these creative ones in here, like this inner space, which I'm not entirely sure what it does, to be honest with you. I'm not super well versed with Omnisphere. Like I said, I really use it a lot for like the different kind of like live sounding presets it has, like different bells and marimbas and, you know, sounds like that, steel drums. But I mean, you could do like a lot with this. I think what it is you can choose between like different like effects and you can blend between them. What I'm trying to say here is this is a very, very powerful synth that, like, similar to Serum, I could definitely just use Omnisphere and like be more than fine. So next two I want to talk about actually are a little bit lesser known, still pretty well known, but maybe you're not as familiar with them. So the first one I want to talk about is called Valhalla Vintage Verb. If any of you know what the Valhalla DSP company, sort of Valhalla people do, is they make these very, very good, mostly reverbs, but they have a few modulation effects that are really good. And they're just so powerful. Like, this reverb sounds beautiful. I'm trying to play with it a little bit just so you can hear it. It's very, very, like, sort of workable. Like, there's a lot of settings in here. You have, like, the different color settings, so you can do, like, the 70s setting, the 80s setting, and then the now setting. You got all these different modes. It comes with a ton of really good presets as well, if you just want to mess with those. They got, like, gated reverbs, different, like, size kind of places. And it's just really, really editable. I like Ableton's reverb. I like Fruity reverb, like all the different default ones that come, or different stock ones that come with different DAWs. But I always come back to Vintage Verb, and I've tried the different Valhalla reverbs too. There's something about Vintage Verb that to me just sounds really, really good. And yeah, I use this in like every single track ever. Like, I really, really like using it. One of my favorite tricks actually with it, let me get like a sound real quick. I'm gonna load up Operator and just make a quick little kind of pluck sound. One of my favorite tricks with it is playing with the decay and the shape to sort of shape it a lot more. And I think this is kind of one of the things that makes it really powerful, is if I make like this little pluck sound here. Just like a little sine wave pluck. If you put this on and you start turning up the mix and then you turn the decay time down and then this size, you can get like this really nice kind of roomy reverb that really brings sounds to life and isn't like out of control, but still just gives it this nice kind of, like, just this sort of nice like shine to it, I guess. Like I said, like, it just really brings it to life. So the last VST I want to talk about is actually something aimed more at vocal production and stuff like that, and it's Soundtoys' Little Altar Boy. This is another one of those ones, if you've seen any of my streams, you know I just love this thing to death. I think it's amazing. It's so, so good for what it does, and it just is a really powerful sound design tool. What it essentially is it's actually pretty simple. It's just basically monophonic voice manipulation, which means that it's meant to process a voice, like a singer, for example, or somebody speaking, like monophonically, so like not harmonies, not like, you know, choir, like a full choir or anything. You would just want to put one voice through this, like one layer of someone's voice, like the lead vocals or something. And you can mess with the pitch and the formants. If you don't know what a formant is, essentially think of like the vowel sound, like when you sing, you go like ooh or ah or e. Any of those like what vowel sound it is, that's the formant. So what a formant shifter does essentially is it shifts the formants. You can shift from like ooh to ah to e to like all of that. And that is kind of one of the things that I really like about this. What this has in it that I don't think they advertise as much as they should is it's really powerful with this format shifter for sound design on different synths. I use it a lot. Like, you can literally just turn this down to -12 and just start playing around, like maybe put the pitch up 100 to +12. And you see, like, as I play different notes, it gives it like this really desirable kind of like almost like glitchiness, I want to say. It just really like can mess your sounds up in a really nice and tasteful way, and like kind of help you take your sounds from just like a boring synth sound to something that has a lot more texture and character. It also has this really good drive on here. It's got the different modes. I don't really mess with them too much, to be honest with you. I'm more really using it just for like the format shifting and the pitch shifting. But yeah, the different modes can be fun. They got like the robot mode that makes your voice just sound like Kraftwerk. They have like the drive on here, which is actually a really good drive. I'm going to show this on some vocals in a second, so you'll see how powerful that is. And then there's just a mix knob on it. It's a really simple plugin, but what it does is very, very useful. And it really is like best kind of for vocal chops. I do use it to give my synths weird kind of textures, but I'll show you on some vocals what it sounds like. Let me just grab something from here. Okay, let's get these lead vocals from here. If they'll load up, will take a second sometimes. Okay, great. So these on their own sound like this.
Who are you supposed to be? Stumble back home so drunkenly.
And if we put on a little altar boy and start messing with it, you can see like what kind of happens.
Who are you supposed to be? Stumble back home so drunkenly. Saying that you wanna make love to me. Oh, no. Not your commodity. Take me for granted.
So you can see the power behind this, because you really have like, you're able to just take like vocals and really make them sound like completely different and give them like all kinds of different sort of things that just take them to another level. I just really think this is a great plugin. I think it's really useful, and I think there's a lot of different uses for it. And it's something that people don't talk about as much also, so definitely wanted to include this one in there. But that's pretty much going to be it for today, guys. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you like these sort of VST roundups. My last one seemed to do pretty well, so I wanted to make another one. But yeah, so like always, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, check out my social media, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another tutorial.